Howdy, BeefLowBart here, and welcome. I'm going to be working on one of my projects and taking questions and trying to answer them as I'm working, so feel free to chat away. Quickly, what I'm working on right here is testing out whether or not I'm going to like and other people are going to like this. This is going to be my main menu. Probably need to turn the music down just a little bit more. I don't know. It's okay, but it might go a little bit quieter. So, for playing a game that has and will have multiple Synty Studios assets and themes, first one here you see is Western that I'm working on, and here's one over here that's going to be Pirates. What I'm going to do is start utilizing some of the things that we've put in. Yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and turn that music down. Is just kind of play around with the concept of having, let's try 3. Instead of the conventional menu where you've got buttons and an image in the background and you're clicking to navigate back and forth, instead when you hit play, this is what you're faced with. A menu where you can walk around inside of it and, okay, I want to go play a pirate theme, I want to go into whatever theme, pirates, cowboys, modern, whatever, and have the different themes. And then once you get to that themed area, you can then decide if you're going to play single player, multiplayer, what style you're going to do, a survival game or whatever, you know. From there, you actually have the ability to pick what you want to do. For example, like say if you just want to do settings, you can come back over here and this will be your settings menu. You just have to walk a few steps farther back because when you first start off, you're going to be right here. So I would put like right behind there the icon for settings. You turn around and walk into that and hit E to interact, and you can open up the menu to change your settings, you know, whatever they may be. I don't know, I kind of like it. It's growing on me the more I think about it. You know, at this point you're single player, there's no other players in here with you, so you're just gonna have to decide what you want to do. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the Wild West theme here, and I'll put some more decorations around to make it look more Wild Westy, you know. So what I'll do is I'll end up making this into, instead of just a floating icon and making a clicking noise whenever you walk into it, I'll make that actually prompt a menu and allow you to teleport to a more themed area where you can stand there and decide. What I'll do though is I'll change the character probably so that when you're in the menu you're just a generic character, but I'll keep the minis because I like the looks of them. But then if you decide you're going to come over here and go to a Western theme, you'll come in, you'll be the sheriff, or you'll be one of the townsfolk from that theme. And I'll try to carry those themes over as much as I possibly can. They're not all covered in the fantasy mini characters. The ones that are currently available, though, is pretty good amount. I don't really think there's anything modern, though. Vikings, Western, Samurai, Pirates, Alex, Knights in Shining Armor, magical characters. I don't really think I've got anything modern. Yeah, I got it. I got you all unblocked and everything. I feel a little bit rough, but I'll make it. I guess worst case scenario, I could always use this guy as a normal guy. So when you're walking around the menu, you're this guy. Just left it as the sheriff, just because. I are the sheriff. So you walk around, like, okay, I want to go to a pirate theme, I want to go to my game settings, or I want to go to this theme or that theme, or a western theme. So what I'm going to do now is actually, I can actually go into the full-size characters when you actually go to the other part. This is actually the main menu of the game project I'm doing. So instead of an actual series of buttons and stuff like that you push, you first start off here. You have the option of turning around, going to your game options, breaking up the menu for that, or you can walk out here, go play a pirates theme or a cowboy theme game, come over here, do pirates, or come over here and do World War II, or come over here and do modern, come over here and do sci-fi. You can pick your theme that you want to go play, and then once you get to this point, you can then teleport to another area, and it'll be that themed area and allow you to actually interact more. Say, decide if you're going to go to multiplayer, if you're going to go to single player, or what have you. So what I wanted to do here is just, since I've got that area already done, I'll just fly over here and we'll put something down just to start. Yeah, it's different. You know, I wanted to be completely different instead of what everybody else does. And everybody else has, you know, a regular menu with graphics and buttons, and press here to go to settings, and press here to go to single player or multiplayer or whatever. So just wanted to be completely different. Let's go to environments. And I'm just going to put something down for ground. Let's see, dust pile. Yikes, that's kind of huge. That'll work though. That's kind of what I need. Zero the axis. But what I want to do is slide this far enough away. Oh, I gotta make sure that I put these guys in the right folder. Right click, move to, I'll put it with columns. So the whole thing is staying organized as you go allows you to be a little cleaner and neater while you're working. So I'm actually going to go ahead and move this to, I don't know, just want to get it far enough away to allow me to build it and put enough surroundings to it. I'm actually going to go to, I think, 30,000. And now I can start putting other stuff in here, buildings, rocks, things like that, to actually keep the player contained, and then build a little bit of a themed environment for this. So the center of where I can spawn to is going to be 30,000, 0, and let's go ahead and 0 out the height. So I can teleport into this general area here and have this to work on. So let's see here. We got train track, bridges. We got all kind of stuff we can put in here. So if I wanted to, I could put these as a pathway to go between buildings. But let's actually look at surrounding this thing first. I think those are going to be my best bet here. So I just want to put these in a position to kind of act like a border to keep our player from falling out of the world. Actually line it up to here so it'll overlap nice. And I will put down to there, I think. And since there's two of them, I'll put them side by side. So there's a little bit of variation in the way that they look. And then I can move both of them together. That's actually pretty good. Good size-wise. Just need to finish lining them up just a little bit better so they're as seamless as possible. don't have to be 100% perfect. They just need to block and keep the player inside the area and kind of hide the rest of the other worlds from here, because I'm going to do a small themed world for each theme so that I can actually have somewhere to teleport to, and the player feels like they're in the appropriate themed area. So now I should be able to grab another one. Looks good. Control C, Control V. I still don't know why I have the need to actually say Control C, Control V. I don't know. It's just one of those things. I'm weird like that. Alright, so that would be that. We're not going to see up there, and our player is not going to be able to get out. Play from here. And I think what I can do is, since this should block our player, yeah, we shouldn't be able to get out of here. But now this themed music is no longer going to be any good for this, so we need to make sure that our seams are good. Test our theme as to the music. I think what I need to do is go to my sound cue, and instead of just putting blanks music in there into the main menu, what I've actually done is I'll hit play. So now I've actually got the sound reference here. So what I'll do is I'll bring that over, and I can zero that out, and having it in our area here, what I'll do is go back to my sound cue, and since it's already set up as a sound cue for the music, and that's so that I can click here and set it as a loop. But I can also come in here and override attenuation settings and put an attenuation in here. But I think what I'm going to do is create a new attenuation. Go to sound attenuation. We're going to call this music. Go into it, and I'm going to leave it the way it is for now. I'll adjust it as I need to. So now when I go back into my sound cue, I can set the attenuation here as music. And I have my own custom sound attenuation. And now I can hear it in here. I can hear it fading a little bit when I get over to here, but it's loud enough in this area where I don't have to worry about it. I like the little pirate ship there. Need to add in the waterfall sound a little bit right there, just faint when you get close to it. But now, if you're way over here in the Wild West themed area and you teleport to it, then you're not going to hear that music. You'll actually hear a more appropriate music. Not really worried about this little bit overlapping look there. What needs to be is, yep, and see, I do not hear the music anymore. So I can actually put themed music in here that will be appropriate. And I can see daylight. So, got to adjust the height there. I don't want to see daylight. Looks good over here. Over here, that looks good. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and I'll play from here again. So I don't hear the music, so that's good. But if I go back over here, I do hear the music. And it's easy to do with sound attenuation. So we need more of a cowboy themed music. So let me take a look here. That one's not bad. But I like that one better. So I'll take that one, and all I'm going to do is just, I've already converted it to a WAV file. So I'm just going to grab that and throw it right there. Now you can use MP3s and do it that way, but I'm not gonna. This adds a little bit more file size, but don't care. It works. So go in here to this one and go in here and tell it to use the music attenuation. I want to make sure that it's set to looping, not pooping, I said looping. So volume, let's go back to 0.3 and see how that sounds. Save, and now I need to go back way over here, and I want to drop that sound attenuation, or that sound cue, excuse me, into the map. So that should do it nicely. Again, the music is from, let's see, 0 to 100 is good, and let's put it at 30,000. Music is from Techno-X. Right, I can see the circle for my attenuation, but let's actually listen to it. It's going to take a little longer to play the first time because it hasn't actually loaded the sound in. Alright, so yeah, I'm going to have to override the attenuation on that one a little bit because it's not loud enough. When I get over here to the edge of the map, it fades away. So let's actually, you know what, I can actually adjust the music attenuation. Change that to 600 and 4500. So now I can play with my sound attenuations and make my adjustments there. So it's loudest right here in the center. I can barely hear it over here, but I can still hear it. So that gives us our sound that we need for in here. So I can actually start building here. So that's good to go. And to make it to where I don't have to see it, I can actually lower it down below the ground, or I can raise it up, either one. Because I have, you can see the larger circle there. It covers all of this area that we're in, so it's good to go. So let's actually, I'm just going to go ahead and drop some buildings and stuff like that and start theming out the Wild West thing here. Where are my saloon? Now, once I get everything all set up, then what I can do is, when you teleport to this area, it automatically changes your skeletal mesh and you'll become that theme. But if you go back to the main menu, which will have to come, you know, which is the main area, have to come up with a portal system for that. Where's the saloon? There it is. Alright, so there's our saloon. I actually want it in this corner over here, so let's rotate it around. Oh, I love these Synty Studio assets. Just want to kind of shove it up here into the corner. But I still want to make sure that I'm not clipping through anywhere and that kind of stuff. So let's go ahead and play from here. See, I think these guys, the minis, will be a little bit too chunky looking. They fit and they work, but I don't know. Should I keep the minis for this section of the menu or go to the regular themed guys? I don't know. It kind of works. But I don't have minis of the sci-fi and some of the other assets. So that's kind of one of I'm limited to here. You can see under the ground there. So I guess for here and here, since we can see through the ground, I could actually put some smaller sections in like this. So that it makes up for that. And I can still take that down just a hair more. And then I'll grab one for over here. Oh, it's too small. I mean, I could scale it up, but this will do just fine. Yeah, I still got a little bit of the sniffle thing going on, so I apologize. So let's actually see how that looks when we're in the map. Now, I haven't done a lighting build yet, so, you know, that's a thing too. And yes, somebody's going to figure out how to get behind there and get stuck, so I'll probably change that around a little bit. I do want to raise that saloon back up just a hair, because the bottom step is actually sticking to the ground. So try that. And I can rotate this too to try to get different angles on the way it looks. So how's everybody else doing this evening? I can put more than one in as well. So we can actually do that to cover up the back side of the building and then put something else right here. And I'll just scale that one. Nobody said I had to only use one. And I can also put something else here too, so I'm not stuck with just, I only can put sand there. In fact, that's actually what I'll do, is I'll put something else there, like a rock, and that will, and I can make that even bigger, rotate it, do all kind of stuff with it, just to kind of make up for that spot. Because they're gonna be rocks. So with this being a question and answer deal, if you guys got questions, start barking them out there, because you know, I'm just gonna sit here and keep working on this project until, you know, the cows come home. But said, if you got something to ask, go right ahead and ask it. There's always going to be one little booger somewhere that something is going to stick through. Yeah, I can sit here and obsess over this one all day long because this is going to be a thorn. So I'll just grab another damn rock. I don't care. This is the Wild West. Anything's possible. Yeah, see, the whole idea is to be different and not do the same cookie cutter crap that everybody else does. So let me go ahead and build my teleport to get over to here. For right now, I'm just going to use my teleport location is 30,150. So this would be the normal area, and then the teleport would take you from here to the western themed area. So let's actually go into this guy, and if you don't know where something is, then I can always do this and add it directly into the blueprint. Alright, so on component begin overlap, I want to do it like I did with the other ones where it gives you a prompt. So it's going to get your world location here. I'm going to just dump that and compile and save, and we need to go to our player character, and I want to set it up and start setting it up to where it changes your skeletal mesh based on the theme of where you're going to. So go in here to the player character, and we need to start putting in some variables. At interaction, and I forgot the question mark at the end, so not that it matters. So now we need to know, are we at the interaction? And we're going to need to do some other things here too, but we needed to have that saved so that we have that to call to. And then from here we can then get at interaction. So we need to see, are we at the interaction? And actually, no, when we're overlapping this, we need to set it. Set at interaction. We need to set that to true. Now what we also need to do is right click on our box, and we need to add event end overlap, and I'll grab these, Control C and Control V to copy and paste it in here, connect those two together, and now yes, we're at it, and no, we're not at it. So then we'll have to create a widget, and I'm going to go to my UI folder for widgets, and I'm going to user interface, widget blueprint, at interact _W, and let's go ahead and open that up. And all we really need here in that is some text. And we want to anchor that to the center, and change the text to E to interact. For now, I'll probably change that 400,000 times, and let's make the size of it 200 by 40 is fine, and center the text. So now we can do our position of -100 by -300. So you always want a little bit higher than dead center so it's visible, you know. And then go to our graph, and yeah, we're going to need the event tick. Event tick. And we're going to have to cast to the player. Cast to player _base, which is the name of my player. And then we need to get player character. That's not going to matter because we're single player at this point. We're not playing multiplayer in here yet. And then from there we want to get at interaction. And we need a branch node. So we're asking, are we at the interaction, or is the player at the interaction? If the answer is yes, we don't give a damn. But if it is no, we want to remove from parent. So that's just going to make the widget go away if we're no longer at the interaction point. So the widget's good now. And let's go with, for right now, a event tick. And I'm going to do it a little bit differently here. I'm going to make a custom event at interaction. I'm not going to put a question mark on there because I don't want to confuse it. So if we're at the interaction, and actually go ahead and do compile and save, and now drag off from this, and now I can put that function in there, and on event tick it's going to check if we're at an interaction. I'm not sure if that's necessary yet or not, but we'll see. At interaction, then we want to, let's go ahead and start it with a branch and ask, are we at the interaction? Because we need to know, are we there yet? Are we there yet? So if we're at the interaction, then we want to create a widget. And the widget we want to use is at interaction. And owning player is get player controller. Could probably get owning player, but again, we're single player. It's not really going to matter all that much. And then come off from here and return. Nope. Dumbass. Add to viewport. So now it's going to bring that menu up. So let's hit compile and save, and let's actually go into that. That should be fine. So let's hit play and see if it actually does anything. Press E to interact. Lovely. I walk away, it goes away. Trouble is, it's rotating, so if we're standing in just the right spot, you can see it comes and goes. But it's alright, it gets the point across and it works. So now we need to be able to make it interact and do something. I'm going to do a quick build. I'm going to start introducing more and more, and this is something I haven't covered much, but I'm going to start covering more and more things like being able to store variables into containers that we can call from anywhere. Now I did cover this some with the teleport system, and I want to try to start using more and more of those so that we can store this data and use it anywhere. And it's going to become more and more handy as we're doing this and using it for animations, animation montages, what have you. So getting into the habit of starting to use these things now will improve the way you handle data as you go and you start getting more and more data. So we know that works, and we know we're going to have to do something here really soon. We're going to have to do the teleport feature. And for that, I'm going to start off with keyboard, and then scroll up until I find the letter E. So now when we press the E key, we're going to perform an action. So for right now, I am just going to also qualify it with a branch node. it does need to check, are we at that interaction? If we're not at an interaction, then it's just not going to do anything. So that's a given. So if I'm just standing around pressing the E key, it's not going to do anything. So at this point, we want to go ahead and teleport the character. For now, there's only one. So I'm going to revamp this as I create the other stuff. We want to set actor location. For now, I'm just going to put in a coordinate. And that coordinate is 30,000 0 0 or 0. I'm just going to click over here and I can see it. 30,000 0 0. So let's do 30,000 0 and 120. So let's see what happens now when we come over here and press E to interact. Oh no! Okay, I guess we'll do 200 and see where that goes. We fell through the world. So we were just a hair too low. There we go. We got the new music. And the lighting looks like garbage over here. And we cannot see the other area that we came from. Even if we jump, we can't see it. So let's just go ahead and do the... I want to go ahead and get some of the theme stuff going. So, in UI... I guess I could do it in UI folder, but I'm not. I'm going to go ahead and create a data folder. Could be in assets, but I'm just going to put it in the root. We're going to create a new folder called data. And we want to create something, a blueprint structure. We're going to call this themes. Go into it. Now what we can do is in that structure we can save variables here, and I'm going to go with menu as a theme, and I'm going to save that as a name, and then I'm going to go ahead and add a new variable in. We're going to add, this one is going to be a name also. These are just going to be names. And let's do Western. And let's add another new one. We're going to call this Pirates. And Sci-Fi. And add another new one in. And see, we have to scroll down now. So this one we can call WW2. This is not something the player is going to see. This is something we're going to use for referring to other things. We may not need it this way, but I still want to have one that has all the themes in it as a named variable. And let's go ahead and create another one. We're going to call modern, and let's go with one more. For now, we'll just call it nights. So this is our different themes. So I can save that one. And let's create another one. So you go to blueprints and structure. We're going to call this theme underscore locations. I'm going to rename this one to names. So it's going to be theme names, theme locations. So if you know this one's going to be names, then this one is going to be vector. So we know the first one was menu. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the other one so I get the order correctly. So the next one was Western. And this one was Pirates. They don't necessarily have to be in the same order, but if you just start getting, hey, what's going on, buddy? Just kind of messing around with one of my projects that I'm working on. So after Pirates is Sci-Fi, and just showing how to use structures to store data that you can call up at any time. Sci-Fi, and let's add another new variable, which was WW2. Yeah, the joke that I cut in Discord was I've had farts that were worse than this hurricane. I'm very thankful though that it did kind of die out before it hit here. But yeah, I've had farts that were worse than this hurricane. It's WW2 after Sci-Fi, right? Yep, Modern, then Knights. Yeah, by the time it actually it got here, it had already lost all of its gusto, and we got a couple inches of rain and only a little bit of wind. So I'm going to hit save on this, and currently we know that the Western theme was 30,00200, and these are going to be useful as our teleport coordinates. Yeah, I didn't even bother looking because I've seen what these things do, and I've been around hurricanes quite a bit, and yeah, it's not that I didn't care. It's just another hurricane that didn't bother me. So actually, I'm gonna hit play so I can get back over here, and the location that I'm starting the player at is, and I don't like odd numbers. So we'll do 120. 00120. So theme location for menu 00120. I'm using this as teleport coordinates. So oh, okay, yeah. Well, you're more than welcome to have these. So come over here and decide I want to go play a Wild West theme, E to interact, and then boom, I teleport to a Wild West themed area, and then I can go to the saloon. I'll be able to go to all the other things that I put in here and pick what I want to do, whether it's single player, multiplayer, and then it'll actually branch out and go to other maps at that point from the menu. But for now, we just want to have a teleport to go here, and if I wanted to, I'll go ahead and throw in another teleport. I'm going to do a generic teleporter for right now. So let's do a save all. Go to Assets, Gadgets. Well, I kind of fill you back in. This is kind of more of a questions and answers while I'm working. It's not like it's, follow along and learn how to build this. This is more of I'm working and I'm just waiting for you guys to ask questions. Do planned actor, generic, teleport. So what I want is, I can actually close that one because I don't need the names anymore. I just want something for, screw it, we'll add in a cube, and we'll do the usual. We'll just do 0.1, add in a box collision, and I just want to resize that so it's, we should go ahead and make that like so. Make it bigger. Yeah, I've just done it so much that I know that 3 usually does it pretty good for me. So on 3, I'm just going to go ahead and compile that. Yeah, so basically, let me finish this portal, and because this is going to be quick. When events tick, no, we don't even want to event tick. We just want to go off here, begin overlap. We're just going to do a direct teleport. As soon as our player steps on this, he poofs away. Cast to player. I'm trying to create a different kind of menu system. Every menu you see out there is click this button, click that button, go here, go there. Everything is a list of pressing buttons. So why not be different and walk around your map? And you know, you can just interact with your settings menu and your themes, and if you want to play single player, multiplayer, why not walk around the map? So I'm going to go ahead and call up this theme locations because it has information that I need in there. So I'm going to go ahead and add a variable and just call it locations. Come over here and I'm going to type in theme locations. Going to hit compile and save, and now I can drag this variable into here, and I'm going to hold down the control key, left click, and drop it in so that I get a get reference. And what we're going to do is we're going to set actor location. We could probably add a rotation in there if we wanted to, but I'm going to grab from my locations here, drag out from there, and I'm going to break theme locations. So now I can see what's in here, and now I have all those references that I needed is right there. I only need menu, so I'm going to drag that to here and compile and save. And let's put a generic teleport in. For now, I'm just going to shove it right there. So we hit play. This is what happens when you first hit play to play the game. So you walk in here and like, okay, oh, I want to go play a pirate theme game, or no, I feel like doing cowboys. So I'm going to come over here. I come up to the icon. I can press E to interact, and it teleports me. And now you notice it even changed the theme music too. So now I have more of a Wild West theme music. Whereas if I come over here and I go back to the main menu. Oh shit! What did I do? Generic teleport. Set actor location. Oh, I just teleported the frickin' teleporter. Dumbass. Oh, yeah. So I want to go over here and I want to go to my pirate theme. You hear the music in the background. I don't know if you guys can hear it or not, but so you've got one themed music here, and now when you go over here, you get new music. So now if I come over here, I can interact with the cowboy world. When I'm done, I can boop and teleport back over here. What I may need to do, since this is such a fast teleport, I mean, it's bam and you're there, I ought to do something to kind of whoop, now you're teleporting. To kind of stop the character for a second, and yeah, I'll worry about that later. So now I can interact, come over here, have different music. So the next thing I want to do is I guess create a variable saying theme, and then whenever I come over here I want to set my skeletal mesh to be a cowboy theme, but whenever I go back over here and I go back to the main menu, then I want to set my skeletal mesh back to a normal, average, whatever skeletal mesh. So let's look at the many characters here, and you want to do the peasant for now. What does a warrior look like? Nah, let's do the I'm going to close all this stuff down and I'll come back to it as I need to. Just one kind of a generic character. Until I figure that out, what I can use is one of my all-time favorites, the skeleton. I like the skeleton. So character, we need to go back to our player blueprint, and I am going to change my mesh. My default mesh is going to be the skeleton. There we go. Compile and save. So now when we go in here to play, we're going to be this guy. I'll change it eventually, but you know what? Whatever. He's cool. So now whenever I come over here and go to the Wild West theme, I need to change my skeletal mesh. So instead of just doing when I teleport, now I'm this. Go to the event graph, and now we've got the @interaction thing. That's fine. So I'm just going to go ahead and comment that @interaction, and I am just going to grab it by the scruff of its damn neck and drag its ass over here just to get it out of the way. I don't need it. I need it to work. I just don't need to see it. And I'm going to grab my event tick and just throw it over here. I'm just going to throw things in there and press E. I'm setting the actor location. So now when I'm setting the actor location, I need to get information from the other thing. So let's create that variable called a theme. All right, go right ahead. That's what I'm here for. Theme, and we want to get name. I've done plenty of videos on that before. Essentially, the easiest way to do it is just add all the weapons to the character as an item, or you can have a weapon. Just put like a static mesh or skeletal mesh reference to the weapon, or both. So you put down here. Here's the weapon, and you put that in their hand, but you socket it to the hand or wherever it needs to be, but you have like your different basic, like if you're going to use a static mesh, then all you're going to do is add a static mesh by adding component static mesh and call it weapon. And from there, if it's a one-handed weapon, two-handed weapon, whatever, you add that mesh in, and you don't even have to put a mesh in right there, but you're going to need to set up a list and put all your weapons in a list, do like I'm doing here with the list and stuff. And then if you pick up a sword, we'll say, yeah, doing it in a list, you're just putting weapon as a static mesh or a skeletal mesh, or you could put both there. And don't actually add a mesh to it at all. But when you have your list, you make a list of all your weapons you're going to have in the game using the same process that I did in my data folder here. Is you create a list, and just like I did with theme names, you just go ahead and put down maybe your weapons type, and with your weapons type, if it's a sword, then it is a one-hand melee or two-hand melee or whatever. Just break it down into individual components on your list here, on your structure. So if it's sword or one-hand sword, just using a generic item name. So if it's one-hand sword, then you actually create that. If you have a static mesh for it but no skeletal mesh, no big deal. So you just actually put in the skeletal mesh or the static mesh name here and make the variable type a static mesh or a skeletal mesh. Yeah, if you still have to use that, then essentially it's the same thing. If you're creating your own weapon system, just like I've got menu, western, pirate, sci-fi, I've done these as names. You can do them the same basic thing and make it a skeletal mesh or a static mesh. Now, whenever you have no weapons whatsoever, you're doing a default unarmed animation. If you hit the number 1 key to draw your sword and you don't have a sword, then it's going to do nothing. But if you do, when you do pick up, like you see a sword laying on the ground, you walk over, you pick it up, it casts to the player character and says, hey, I now have one-hand sword. Hey, autosave, eat a dick. So now it knows that you have that. So now if you get, and you can actually set up a structure like this as well without the variables in there, and you can actually get a reference to that structure, which I'm getting ready to add it in here, and I'm going to get the theme, and let's just go ahead and add in a variable, and I want theme name, and then I'm going to come over here, the variable type, I'm going to go ahead and select theme names, which is the name of this guy up here. So now whenever I actually go ahead and hit compile, I grab that reference to that, get a get, and then break, and if theme is equal to Western, actually I'm going to do it a little bit different way here, I'm going to change this in just a moment, but now if you got a one-handed sword, then you could actually pick from that list, okay, it was of weapons, it was the one-handed sword, so I need to drag this off to here. So, and then you just set the skeletal mesh, you get a reference to your mesh, and set skeletal mesh or set static mesh or whatever you have to do, and it will then apply that mesh to that socket. Just attach it, you know, whenever you create that static mesh or your skeletal mesh, you socket it, you choose your parent socket and select it, like main hand or sword hand or right hand or whatever. So just socket that new static mesh and skeletal mesh to the player's hand, so when you actually do take that reference, which is blank and has no mesh attached to it, you're going to set the static mesh or you're going to set the skeletal mesh to be this. It's pretty simple. It sounds complicated, but it's a lot easier once you start using lists to break down things. I don't need the theme names right now, so I need the theme locations. I can make this as simple or complicated as I need to. I need to get the location of where we're going to teleport from, so I need to say my theme. I need to get a reference to my theme name and my teleporter that carries me to, which is this guy. Whenever I interact with that, and I can go into the thing. So not only am I setting the interaction here, I am at interaction, but what I need to do is wait for this to stop being a jackass and allow me to freaking do what I want to do. I can now set theme to set theme. So I'm setting that. I'm overdoing this a little bit. Set theme to, and I can go ahead and again themes. I'm totally not spelling shit correctly right now. Theme names, and then compile it again. Go ahead and get a reference to this, and then I want to break it. So I'm setting the theme name here to Western. Totally overdoing this in the process. But whenever I I step on that box collision, it's going to set add interaction to true. It's also going to set the location, or the name of where I'm going. I could actually, instead of doing the doing that part and that part, let's go ahead and theme, or let's call it location, and then go back over to here and theme locations. So now I'm going to compile that again, get a reference to it, I'm going to break it, and I know that I'm going to go to Western from this particular one right here. So theme here, if I want to get my location, let's actually, I'm going to get rid of theme. I don't need theme name, and I don't need that one right now. So I'm just going to create a new one, which is teleport location, and then I'm going to go ahead and do theme locations. Well, I can get that and get teleport location, but what I need to do instead is change that. I need to change that into a vector, and then go back into this, and I need to make sure I save that. So I'm teleport location. So now I can come over here and I want to set teleport location. I said overdoing this a little bit, but it helps me to become more generic on the way I lay out things. So I'm now setting this to the Western location. So now on the player base, I can come back and get my teleport location, and there we go. So single player, yes, no problem. You can tell it the map name to use or whatever. It could be teleports, it could be anything. I'm just using teleports as the example here. It could be weapons, it could be skeletal meshes, static meshes, anything. Teleports only work to teleport to locations on the map, and by you doing set actor location. If you want to change maps, and I'll be doing that later on whenever I build the, okay, I want to play single player survival, then I need to be able to reference a specific map at that point. And then it'll open level is what the command will be. So in theory, I just overcomplicated everything just then so that I can make this work better. So now I can, boom, and interact. I can go to the new map. Everything is good to go. And I'm still a skeleton. So come back over here, and I'm still a skeleton. So I also want this to, since I'm telling it to teleport to a specific location, and here in the player, I can close theme names, I guess. Since I'm also setting the actor location as well, based on the teleport location, I'd kind of want this to also set the theme. So I'm going to go ahead and add another variable in and call this theme, and it's going to be theme names, and go ahead and compile that as well. And since it's already doing that, setting another variable within the character, then I need to also come in here in the player and player theme, and we need to change that to a name. and here, so we can go ahead now and I did not save it, did I? So we got player theme. Okay, so we need to set player theme. TechnoAxe. It's like technoaxe.com. Right there, technoaxe.com. Sign into chat. I am not going to sign into chat. I am just going to pop that into Discord in the public lobby. Hey, autosave, eat a dick. Oh, I need to figure out how to do this. So, auto disable across the entire board. Friggin' hate autosave. I save my shit all the damn time. I don't need to do it for me. So I want to set the player theme. So I need to get control left click drag and drop. Gives you an automatic theme that, and I can break that. And since I am using this to teleport to the Wild West themed area, I can now drag that to Western. Compile and save. So that's that. And now I need to go back to my gadget, my generic teleport. This is always going to teleport me back to the main menu. So at the same time, I can set my, get another variable here, theme, and same thing here, theme names. Right, so compile and save. Let's drag this in here to get and break, and from player base we need to set player theme to menu. This is really overcomplicated, but it's going to help smooth things as we go here. So I'm setting my theme whenever I go to the teleporter to go back to the main menu. I'm setting my theme back to menu. So I'm actually going to have to come in here and I'm going to create another custom event. It's probably going to make this easier. So custom event and themed mesh swapper. Doesn't matter what we call it. So with that, we're going to run this off event tick. And I want to get player theme. And I need to, let's go ahead and create that variable in here as well. Player themes and theme names. Compile and save. Yep, we're good here. So make sure I got that compiled, and then get that as well. So the first thing I'm going to do is let's go ahead and break that. If player theme, I'm going to need this. I just don't need it just yet. Equal. So I'm just gonna drag it out here. if it is equal to menu. So it's going to bug me until I figure out a way of making this neater. So the first one we're going to ask, is it equal to menu? And we'll do a branch. We're going to collapse the hell out of this. And I'll probably come back in and completely change this. You know, it's one of those things where it seems like a good idea right now, but I'll probably come up with a better way of doing this. And I'm sure there's 10 better ways to do it. So if the player theme is equal to menu, then I want to get a reference to my mesh. And this will go along with also with setting up, changing your weapons and stuff. And I want to set skeletal mesh on true here. This is where it's going to get ugly, but I will collapse the hell out of this so it'll be less ugly. I'm going to grab this and I'm just going to move it out of the way for now. I know that it's there and it works. I should comment it, but I'll come back to it. So if it's going to be menu, then we want it to become our skeleton for now. So now, whenever we're in the theme of the main menu and we're in the main menu, we're going to be the skeleton. So now I can drag out from player theme and equal, so equal name, and then I'm going to grab off Western here. And we're going to open this up so we can see all the themes. Even though we don't have all the meshes that we need just yet, we will eventually. I'm just going to do for Western and now, and then as I go, I'll come back and add more in, like pirates. And I don't have a sci-fi character, or a World War II, or a modern. I do have a knight character, but I don't have those three just yet. So anytime my theme is going to become Western, then I need to get me another branch node and run that off of false here. And let's try to make this as neat as possible. And it's not going to stay neat. It's going to be absolutely freaking hideous. So if it's equal to Western, then I need to Control C, Control V. I need to set my skeletal mesh. I don't have the mini characters of the World War II and that kind of stuff. In the menu, I kind of want to use these minis as much as I can. So instead of that, we want to do the sheriff. So the polygon minis don't have the World War II, the modern, the sci-fi, and that kind of stuff. So here's what I'm doing. This will work if you're doing you're juggling your weapons back and forth. Instead of it being a reference to your mesh, it would be reference to your main hand or your weapon or whatever. And you're just going to set your skeletal mesh based off of your theme here. So I'm getting my theme names. If the theme is equal to menu, then it's going to set skeletal mesh to be our skeleton. No worries. But if your player theme is equal to Western, then we want to set it to become the sheriff. So I've probably forgotten something here. So let's see if I've forgotten anything. So we start off, we're our skeleton. We're a lovely dude. We gotta come up with a name for this guy. So come over here and let's go to Western. And it did not change my theme. It did not change my mesh. Which tells me this guy set theme to Western. It set my teleport location. Why did it not set my theme? So I do on this guy. The teleport over here, it should have changed my skeletal mesh. Oh, because I did not do anything with this yet, because I'm mentally defective. Duh! I am absolutely just brain dead. I didn't add it to the event tech. So we need themed mesh swapper. So I'm going to drag off of there and themed mesh swapper thingy doohickey. That's what I should have called it, thingy doohickey. So now it's going to check on the event tick. It's going to be looking for it now, so I'm not defective. So we start off. We are this dude. Yeah, I should use the hot dog from the other pack. I love that hot dog. I don't know why. So, all right, you piece of shit. You didn't work. This is good. It is setting the. It's setting theme, player theme, and here it's getting player theme. There's a much simpler way of doing this, and I'm just trying to overcomplicate things. Yeah. So I'm getting mesh, and I'm setting the skeletal mesh. If it is equal to Western, it's setting the theme here to Western. You know, it'd be so much easier just to go in here and get a reference to our character and set skeletal mesh. It would be so much easier just to do it right here. So I will revisit this guy later. I will come back to you. I will fix that, just not right now. So if I do this and just say, okay, just change your damn skeletal mesh. This is the simple way of doing it. So, but on component begin overlap, it's setting this. So if teleport location equals, then I guess I could do that, but let's see the timing of which it actually changes the mesh. Because if I just come over here, I don't want it to change anything until I hit E, and then it should. Why are you being such a pain in my ass? This is a definitive, except for I didn't tell it which mesh to go to, because I'm still being defective. Set skeletal mesh to sheriff. Okay. My brain is just turning to mush today. What am I forgetting here? When I overlap this and I select E, it's not picking up on this part. So let's actually try something here. Since it's doing setting the theme is doing just right, because it's picking up on the location here and it's setting that location. So just curiosity wise, what would happen if I just shove that in here? This is one of those cases where this is utterly stupid simple and it's just not working. I'm just not holding my feet right on the floor or something. It's just I don't honestly get it. This is working as it should. It's setting my target location to where I'm going to teleport to, and it should be setting my theme as well. That's, excuse me, don't be an asshole. I'm talking Unreal Engine 4, not to you guys. So yeah, I'm setting my theme, my player theme. Oh, excuse me, I forgot to drag from here to here. My bad. So that's correct. It's setting my theme location and my theme name. It's setting this variable to player theme. Compile, save. I'll compile and save 15 times. So here, it's getting a reference to my player theme, and if my player theme is equal to menu, then it needs to set my skeletal mesh to that. And it's being run off of event tick, so it should be doing this every second. So even if it delays for some reason in changing it upon initial teleporting in, it should still find it, and it should still change it. So if my player theme is equal to Western true, then we need to set skeletal mesh to, it's going to the wrong mesh. I don't know, maybe it's just because I'm setting it to the wrong mesh, and that mesh doesn't have a... No. Why are you being an asshole? Because if I come in here to player base and I unhook this, so that is off. It doesn't do anything now. So this stuff does nothing. And if I tell it at this point to get a reference to the player and set skeletal mesh, so now this should be definite. It should say, okay, you're setting these two variables and you are now changing your skeletal mesh to that of the sheriff. I'm just confused as to where it's losing touch with reality, because it's causing me to lose touch with reality. See, it changed before it teleported. See, and I don't want that to happen. Because now if I were to come back here, there's nothing to tell it to change back. So I want to get rid of that. Compile and save. This should be fine. That teleporter should be good. And the generic teleport should be good. It's setting my player theme to menu whenever I go back. It's setting my location is working just fine. So that's good. So in theory, with this running on event tick, whenever it changes theme, it should get a reference to the theme, and it should yeah, that's fine, and that's fine. It's getting a reference to the mesh here. Setting skeletal mesh. What am I doing wrong? I mean, seriously, what am I doing wrong here? It's checking the theme names so that it gets a reference from that list. And if that theme name is equal to Western, then it sets that branch node on the true path, and it sets skeletal mesh with the mesh reference. This should be working just fine. It's not changing my mesh. So let's try it a different way here and go back into my player, and the initial starting mesh I'm going to change to rock golem. Doesn't matter what I change it to. So now whenever I first start playing, it's going to be okay. And again, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to break this. Compile and save. So now we go in here and play, we're the rock golem. See? Lovely. Come over here Nothing changes. I'm still the rock golem. And come over here. Nothing changes. Still the rock golem. So now if I come back in here and reconnect this, compile and save, I go into play and I'm not the rock golem. I'm in the menu. So that's my game mode, my default mode there. But if I go over here, wait a minute. Let's verify gadgets. I am setting my theme to Western. You guys see that, right? So whenever I actually go into the Wild West map, I'm setting my theme to Western. Whenever I take the generic teleporter to go back to the main menu area, I am setting my player theme to menu. What the hell am I missing out on here? What am I doing wrong? I'm setting my location and setting my theme. This is obviously detecting that I'm in the menu theme whenever I'm in the menu. So right now, if I hit play, I should be the rock golem, but it automatically changes me to the skeleton because I'm in this area. And if I change that, just so we know that that's actually what's working here, shopkeeper. I'm going to change my skeletal mesh. You can see my mesh is the rock golem. I am that guy. But now when I hit play, I'm the shopkeeper. So it works with that theme. But when I come over here and eat or interact, what if I look in the interact? It should not have to do anything whatsoever with this. At interaction, I should not have to mess with that widget at all. Alright, so what am I doing wrong? I'm getting my theme name from here. It's working for the menu. It is not, however, working for Western. You can see I've got it connected from player theme. If player theme is equal to Western and true, it's going to check there. And I've never had this problem before with directing things this way, but shits and grins. Let's put a sequence node in and break it. And if I knew how to type, so we're going to throw a sequence in. Instead of a if not, then go to this. We're going to leave that false node off. And we're just going to go directly to this. So it's going to be checking every second. And I hate to do it this way. We're going to go in here, and it did not like that. I wanted to view it playing in here. It automatically went to the damn sheriff, though. Why the hell's it the sheriff? Yeah, it don't like that shit at all. So it doesn't like the sequence node. I've done it this way 100,000 friggin' times. It's going to ask, is it this? No. Then, is it this? No. Is it this? No. And it should be, go through that, and it should be just fine. So we go in here and play now. See, I'm the shopkeeper instead of the rock golem. Come over here, I should be the sheriff. See, I'm setting my skeletal mesh to the sheriff. So, mousing over it, it says game, polygon, fan, mini, characters. So it's going to the Western Sheriff. It's going to the right one. You saw it, you know, did that before. So instead of shopkeeper, let's go to peasant. Compile, save. There, on the peasant. When I do this, and it sets my set actor location. I am actually going to Control C and put that in here. I'm going to repaste this over here. And I'm going to delete this guy and that guy off the event tick. And I'm going to do this off of the E. So whenever I actually do this, what I want to do is then I want it to get reference to the player theme. And then from here, from set actor location, it's then going to ask this. Is the player theme equal to menu? Then set it to the peasant. Is it equal to Western? Then set it to the sheriff. So hit compile and save here. I've taken it away from over here. It's no longer on the event tick, forcing it to operate from whenever I press E. So see, I start off, I'm the rock golem. So I do want to make that the same no matter what, but we just wanted to contrast to see, and it just changed to the fucking peasant. Why did you change to the peasant there? And then when I go in here, it stays a peasant. Oh, fuck me to tears. So I'm just going to go ahead and change that back to peasant. So no matter what, it stays that. This should work. I mean, seriously. I'm just going to break these two references for now, and I'm going to change the order of it. If it's Western, it's going to go up here. If it's menu, it's going to go down here. So this one we want to change to peasant. This one we want to change to sheriff. Doing it absolutely backwards here. So what happens now when we hit play? We're the peasant. Now we're the sheriff. Now what happens when we go back to the menu? We're still the fucking sheriff. Why? Why in the hell are you doing this shit to me? Now you guys see what I face whenever I get frustrated because I'm doing something that's blatantly frickin' simple. I am this character. When I go here, I want to change to this character. No problem. Now when I go back to the main menu by using this teleporter, I want to go back to my original character when I was in the frickin' menu. Now if I come over here, I'm still a sheriff. I should only be the sheriff in this menu. Come over here, I need to go back to the peasant. Peasant there, sheriff there. All of my stuff is correct. I mean, seriously. Peasant, no problem. I start off this way. It's awesome. Now I teleport. Hey, I'm the sheriff. Now, I'm done with the Wild West thing. I want to go back to the menu, and I'm supposed to change back. Whenever I overlap with the box there, now I'm physically here telling it at this point to set the location of where I'm going to teleport to is to the menu, and then I'm setting my actor location. So maybe let's just go ahead and break this node, and let's go ahead and set the actor location there. So I want to set my theme, and I don't really want to do it this way because it's going to set my theme first and then teleport me. But okay, no problem. Let's set the theme to menu, and then I want to take this and tell it to go to that location. This should not make any difference whatsoever. Okay, no problem. I'm the sheriff. So now whenever I go through here, it's supposed to set my theme back to menu. And if my theme is equal to menu true, then set my skeletal mesh to that of the peasant. What isn't right about how I'm doing this? I'm getting my teleport location, no problem. Bang, I set the actor location. This is a different setup here. This is a teleporter, a general teleporter. So it's just going to teleport. This is actually teleporting when I press the E key at the other location. So that one is okay. If I hit E right now, nothing is going to happen whatsoever. It'll only happen whenever I come over here, interact, and now it teleports me and changes my skeletal mesh. No problem. Now I can walk around town. Everything's awesome. I'm the sheriff. I can go in a saloon. I can go to the jail. I can go to wherever I want to go to. But now I want to go back to the main menu, and then the music changes. Everything else is fine, except for changing my skeletal mesh back to the menu character. Everything else is working except for that. And I changed the order of this. So I'm going to uncomplicate things. So what I'll do is I'll end up just going back old school with this. Instead of doing it the clean way and setting it up with lists and so forth. Lists are good, I promise. They work great for a lot of things. This just absolutely being a douche knuckle and not working the way that I needed it to. Because, you know, I'm telling it what to do here. And unless you guys can see something that I am obviously doing wrong. If I come over here and I reverse these again. So now, it's going to check. Is my theme, my player theme, equal to menu? True. If it is true, then I want to change it to become the peasant. Okay? If not, false. If it is not, then I want to see, is it equal to Western? If it's equal to Western, true, then I want to change my skeletal mesh to Cowboy. And now, so compile and save. So hit play. I'm the peasant. I'm walking around. Everything's lovely. Come over here and teleport. It doesn't change. So, and my teleports are fine. Where am I going wrong with this? So instead of setting the theme, let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. Get rid of that. Now, we are asking a branch question here. We don't have anything to. So we're going to set our actual location. And we have reference to our mesh. No problem. Great. That's awesome. But we need a variable to put into our branch to say, become the peasant, become that. So compile and save. Now I go into the teleporter for this. Theme. There is no player theme anymore. You're gone. So at this point, it's asking the location. It's setting the location based on this right here. It's breaking it. It's getting it. I'm going to Western. So it's getting that. So what if I were to come out and do equal equal and no. See our teleport location here. It's getting it directly from the teleport itself. So if I get player theme and break, it's going to give me a list of names. And I'm setting the location here, teleport location. That's fine. So let's actually look in generic. I am setting the location the same way. I'm setting it to menu. So the teleport location portion is correct. So teleport location, instead of it getting there, I could have just set the theme. And if theme is equal to so-and-so, then change the meshes and set the teleport location, but I'm not going to break it down that way. It's an unnecessary breakdown. So getting the player theme, that's not what I need. The player location. And I don't want to have to do an individual teleport. So this one right here should always work. So this should always set my mesh. So I don't need theme name anymore. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. So when I teleport back to the main menu or the menu area, I always want this to set my skeletal mesh. At that point, it should always do it, no matter what. Set my active location and set my damn skeletal mesh, and it's always going to set it to peasant. Always. Whenever I do this, go to the west menu. I'm going to set my teleport location, and then I should always set skeletal mesh, and then it should always set my skeletal mesh to the cowboy, the sheriff. Let's actually just go with cowboy. This one. Yeah, I reckon. Compile and save. So it should always, anytime I am at the west menu, I want it to go to this and always do that. Always set my location and always set my skeletal mesh. So now, whenever I come to this, I don't need any of that garbage. So it's just getting my target location and saying, go there. Because whenever I'm doing that, the west menu is setting my location. And it's telling me where to go to. So whenever I go to this menu, it's going to set my location and set my mesh to that of the cowboy. Pressing E on this is setting my target location and teleporting me. So west menu. Yeah, I'm just gonna back up and regroup and redo everything, I think. So start off as peasant, no problem. Come over here, teleport, turn into the cowboy, and then this should force me back into being the peasant. Alright. So I uncomplicated it and it works fine. But it should have worked the way it was, the way I had it just now. Why it didn't work? Whatever. Something that should have worked and didn't just cost me 45 minutes. Welcome to Unreal Engine 4. And this is only the menu, the single player menu. And that generic teleporter was just a generic teleport that I'm not even going to use later, so, you know, I'll use it as the modeling for that. But so what I need to do now is just take this area right here, populate it out with more buildings. Yeah, this was something that should have been quite simple. All I did was I uncomplicated it. I left this as just whenever I press E on this. Whenever I walk in here, I set my skeletal mesh and the player character to always be this guy. Okay? So now whenever I walk over here, I press E, and see, there's the problem. It automatically changed me to the cowboy as soon as I overlapped, and I don't want it to do that, because what if I don't want to go here anymore and I want to go back over here and do modern, or I want to go do pirates? So this west menu, the Wild West menu, is forcing it to do that. So I can't have the set skeletal mesh there. It needs to be in here. When I set my actual location, it needs to get the theme. It needs to get that information and say, if it's this, then change the skeletal mesh to that. But that wasn't working. Target location. I set the target location in here, and then if I set the skeletal mesh in this, I can't have it just automatically do that. So, hey Zara, how you doing tonight? Yeah, Unreal Engine 4 can sometimes be like talking to a really stupid person. You're like, no, I want you to do this. Well, how do I do that? I'm doing this. No, you're not doing that. So here, to do this, you have to do this and this and this. You have to break it down and be literal about everything. I'm setting my location to that of the western area. So therefore, it sets my teleport location. I'm going to have some breakfast for me. So at this point, I should then be able to take and set the player theme. So this is where it should work. So if it's setting that location, then I need to also get a reference to the theme. And then I can break this. And see, there it is, menu and western. So I'm telling it to go to the western theme here. I'm setting my teleport location. So I need to be able to then set my player theme to this name. I'm working on my insanity levels right now. A very simple thing to do of whenever I'm here, I'm in this map or this section here, no problem, I'm this character, I got this music playing, everything's great, but I want to go play another themed area. So I go over here and I teleport, and it changes my skeletal mesh to the cowboy, which is what it's supposed to be doing right now. Then now as I'm in this cowboy theme, the music's changed, everything's good to go. You know what, I really feel like going back to the menu and trying something different. So it teleports me back to the menu system, and it changes me back into this character again. But it's not changing me correctly. And everything that I'm doing should work, and it's not. So I'm changing my theme, my location that I'm teleporting to that of where the western is. That's no problem. The teleports are working just fine. So a super simple way of doing, I changed the way I did music for this. I put music right there. You notice the sound attenuation ring, the big yellow ring. All I did was I created the music. I got the wave file, and then I created a sound cue so that it would. You click on this, change that to looping. Click on the output, tell it to use the attenuation for music. I created an attenuation for music, set it to 600 and 4500 in a spherical, so I made my own sound attenuation. And now all I did was just drug the sound cue into the map, into the center of the area. Now, I kept it simple on this. So now when you're in the menu, all you're doing is you're listening to a sound attenuation. So it works great here because you can't get away from it. It's such a small confined area. You come in here and you start walking away. You get over here to the saloon. You get farther away from that center. The music's fading away. But now as you get closer and closer back to the center of the map, the music will get louder because I put the sound cue right here in the middle. You can see it encompasses this entire map here. So now whenever I go to put my other themes in, that's the menu over there, the menu area. This is the western. I'll put another one over here, another one over there. Just scatter them all around the map so that all I'm doing is I'm teleporting between different themed locations. And this is just the menu system. So this isn't, there's no major gameplay going on in here. So this, like I said, you'll choose your theme. If you want to go to pirates, you come over here. If you want to do cowboys, you go over here. So it works out. So now whenever I go to the west menu, I want to make sure that I set that I'm at the interaction so that my E key works. I'm setting my location for my teleport. That works just fine. So I need to set my theme and I'm going to get a reference to my player theme, which is set player theme. Connect that to there. So now that I'm going to set that, I want to set it as I'm doing Western, so I want Western to connect to here. So now I'm setting my player theme to Western. Save. So now I'm setting my actual location, and here, this, whenever I press E, I want it to then, and this way won't work. I don't want it to work this way. I want it to, like we were doing before, set it off of my event tick. So let's actually run this here at interaction, and I'm going to run a sequence node. So that's cool, that's lovely. On my event tick, we're going to then come off and we're going to go to the custom event that we're going to create over here. So custom event, and we're going to call this mesh masher. I don't give a shit. I just want the damn thing to work the way that it should work. So when we run this custom event, and I'm just going to compile and save. So I'm going to run this right here off of then one mesh masher. So it's going to run that custom event, just like it's going to run that custom event for at interaction. So whenever on event tick, it's going to be checking this, whatever runs right here. So this should work as soon as I fill it out and populate it with something. It is going to get a reference to my player theme because it's being set by the teleport system. It's setting my player theme to this. And let's actually make sure that my generic teleport, we're getting rid of that. We're getting rid of the set skeletal mesh. We need to change that to set theme, set player themes, so no problem. We're going to set our theme when we use that teleport, and then we're going to get and break that. So now we've got what we need. We're setting it to menu because this one's going to take us back to the menu. So it's setting our theme to menu. So those are covered. My teleports will set the theme that I want to become, and they're good. So player theme, it's going to get a reference to the player theme, and if the player theme is equal, so if it's equal to, and I want to get something here, so the player theme, I'm going to get it here, and then I'm going to break it so that I get my references here. So I'm going to move that over there, and I'm going to move this to here. So if it is equal to menu, and then I want to put a branch node in, connect that up right here. If it is equal to menu, then I want to get a reference to my mesh here, and I want to set skeletal mesh, and I want to set it to peasant, and I'm only choosing peasant because it's top of the list. If it is not equal to this, and it is equal to Western, so if player theme, so we need to do this, drag it off from here again, equal. If it is not equal to menu, then is it equal to, false, is it then equal to Western? So we connect that in. You quit being an asshole and just move like I tell you to. So now it's going to ask, is it equal to the Western? If so, then I want to set skeletal mesh. I did all of this before the same way. Not changing anything. Now I'm changing this to cowboy. And that is the correct one there. Compile and save. So it's always going to be checking, is my player theme equal to menu? If so, change it to the peasant. If it's Western, then change it to the cowboy. So I come in here, I'm the peasant, no problem. To confirm that it's actually doing that correctly, let's go back in here and look at our viewport. Let's change our mesh to shopkeeper. So now, this is my default mesh. So if I go into there and it's the shopkeeper, then it's not working. If it's a peasant, then we know that my script is working. So now I come over here and I teleport, and I should be the fucking cowboy because my theme is now Western. Why is my theme not changing my skeletal mesh? To go back, then I should change it back to this guy. If it is equal to Western, is player theme equal to Western? True. Change skeletal mesh to cowboy. What am I doing wrong? This should work. It's changing it to the menu one, but, and the perfect example here is I'm going to break these two and I'm going to reverse them. If it's equal to Western, I want you to do that. If it's equal to menu, I want you to do that. I'm going to change the mesh references right here. So, peasant, peasant, peasant. It's not getting the Western frickin' theme. When I teleport to this, it should be setting the player theme. Set player theme to Western. Set teleport location to Western. What's the problem? Is it equal to Western? True. Then that. Is it equal to menu? Do that. Set player theme. Set player theme. Menu. I need to rename this blueprint, but still, it's getting the theme. It's set. It's saying set it to that. Set your theme to player, or set your theme to Western. If I'm teleporting back to the menu, set it to menu. I want to get in here. I get the player theme, get a reference to my player theme. It's part of my event tick, the meshing situation here. It's running this custom event. It should then check the player theme, and it's asking, is the player theme equal to menu? Is player theme equal to menu? Just in case it's actually being absolutely retarded and it needs its own separate player theme reference here. It shouldn't. That should not be an issue. I've used mesh references 30 frickin' times before. Shouldn't be a problem. Let's make sure we do a save all. Everything should be functioning perfectly normal. I should be this guy. And now when I go over here, hit E, I should be the cowboy. Change something else. Try to be the damn warrior. How about that? It's not. It's just not working. I absolutely don't understand why something this simple is not working correctly. See, I'm that. But if I look at my player base, look at my mesh and the viewport, I'm the shopkeeper. So whenever I start, if my stuff is working, I should be this guy, not the shopkeeper. It automatically changed it here because it detects that, and it should not. It should not detect that I'm that. Player base, event graph. Nothing is set my theme yet. Player theme is set to none. When our first event began play, nothing is saying, I'll show you what's on this. This is just setting the input mode to game only and turning off the mouse cursor. So there's nothing whatsoever that's setting my player theme. I've never told it to say, hey, your player theme is this. So why, I know these guys are good, why is it that when I hit play, it automatically changes my theme? Changes my theme to menu. I've not told it to set it to menu. So that's my problem here, is I don't need that. I know this works. So where is this thing forcing my theme? Is it equal to this? No. Okay, just for shits and grins, let's go ahead and get a reference to our skeletal mesh, or set skeletal mesh. If it is false, if it's not this or this, then I want you to be the shopkeeper. So what's forcing me to be in that? And why didn't it change there? Because it said it. Why is it not changing? So I just told you to change it to shopkeeper. If it's not this or this, then be this. But there's nothing in here. If I look at the player themes, there is no, you got nothing for your default values here. Player theme, none. So when you first begin play, there is no player theme. At interaction is this. It's just saying bring up a widget. Pressing E just teleports you to the location of the teleport location. That's no problem. So I'm going to put these relatively close together. I'm going to let you guys look at this for just a few minutes. So, we know that it's running this custom event off of the event tick. It's not replicated, don't need it to. We'll just do call an editor, and that shouldn't matter either. Why is it automatically defaulting to that theme if I'm not telling it to? I have never told it to default to that theme. The player theme is set to none. There is no theme. I mean, even if I were to change this to actually say something in here. So, okay, in theory, if I were to come in here and ask, is this equal to none? Okay, I'm not going to put any value there. Then I want to set skeletal mesh. Nope, I'm going to get a reference from here. Set skeletal mesh off of the false node from there. So if it's nope. We want to do this. We want to do a branch node connected to there. So if it's not either one of those other two, then it's going to ask, is it equal to none? And if it is equal to none, set it to Viking. So now, in theory, we are the shopkeeper, right? So I hit play, I should be the Viking, not the peasant. Why the hell am I the peasant? If I come over here, I should be the cowboy. If I step on this and go back, I should be this guy. It's defaulting to it is defaulting to something I'm never telling it to become. I've never, nowhere tells it to set the player theme to become that. The only time it's saying to become that function is in here, and that's only going to do that if I'm stepping on this box collision of this teleporter on the other side of the friggin' map. It then sets my theme to menu. This is the only location that I'm telling it to do that. If I look at the teleporter that tells me to go to the western map, it sets my location, no problem. It sets that I'm at the interaction, no problem. It sets my theme, no problem. It's setting it to western whenever I do that. So in theory now, whenever I check, it's checking the player theme. Yeah, I'm going to walk away for just a minute. And clear my head, because I'm about ready to put a bullet in this freaking computer. And I've seen me do dumb shit like that. I've stabbed a computer, I've shot computers. I used to have, my own private shooting range. And I took my computer, I walked out the front door, and I slung it about 20 yards, and it hit the ground, and I proceeded to open fire with a shotgun, and that wasn't satisfying enough, so I used an AK-47. And I blew it into 1,000 little pieces, or more. And then I went to the store and I bought all the components and I built another one. Because that's back when you could actually drive down the street and go to a computer shop and they had stuff in stock. Because there wasn't a hell of a lot of options. But anyway, nobody has any thoughts on why this simple friggin' thing is not working, please let me know. I'm going to walk away from this stream. I'm going to shut the stream down instead of just taking a break and walking away from a live stream. I'm just going to shut it down. I'm going to take about 10 minutes. And if it's not cooperating, then I'm shutting the whole fucking thing down. And I'm going to go play World of Warships or The Crew 2 or something. I might just rub cheese grater across my genitals. I don't know. But if it cooperates, then no problem. I will bring the stream back up and show you what I did to fix it. But this should work the way it is. So, if you guys have any thoughts, shout at me in Discord. I'm pissed off, so I'm just going to walk away, do the smart thing, be a better man, walk away from the computer, recollect my thoughts, and then if I can't figure it out, I'm just going to call it quits for the night. It's midnight, and yeah. Alright guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you in a little bit.